Hey, we're back with Warrior number 4 and the conclusion to the Dr. Insano Ultimate Warrior saga.
And for the first time, both of us are on screen together, as opposed to our personalities just swapping out in every alternate universe.
This is my much shorter hair, which I hated, by the way. I hated this haircut. You can see how I tried to make Insano's hair look all crazy when it's like half as short, and we never even comment on it. You also can tell, I don't know if you can tell, but we were cheating the eye lines a lot.
Yeah, I think we filmed this. I filmed these Insano shots like right next to the bed we're on.
Well, we had to because the lighting was so bad in this hotel room. You can also see my Gandalf staff behind me there.
Hyper time, man. What are you gonna do?
And
I just feel bad because I think I was out at the time filming my crossover with The Last Angry Geek. So I missed a good chunk of this of the filming for this.
Well, yeah, everyone was busy with crossovers. I really like this intro scene, but I'm always very critical of my own work, and so I tell you this now with great humility. I am actually not a fan of this particular review, and I wrote it, so I really think I think the other comics were very, very good. The other reviews were very, very good because it really used the hypertime concept, and we did a lot of really funny sketches. And I just don't think I did anything really, really outstanding with the hypertime concept in this. I mean, the comic review is solid. Don't get me wrong, but I thought the sketches, from my point, were a letdown. And it's again, it's my fault because I wrote it, I directed most of the segments, and really our only concept that we could come up with most times was like, if you have a silly costume or a funny hat, we'll just wear that and just put it in front of there. And so, but there were some kind of classic moments with the hyper time, like the fashion model sketch. I thought that was good.
I know that's probably the best one of all of these, which again we came with on the spot. It helped that that for this one, Liz and I drove down to it, so I was able to just put together a box, just a big cardboard box full of costumes and hats and just as many things as I could, because I had like so many ideas for things. And my Green Ranger helmet actually had to get mailed to Holly because I had someone else paint it. I had gotten a fresh kit for one, and that helmet fit a lot better than my original one.
And I'll tell you, that box of props was a lifesaver because that was pretty much all we had. I had actually packed pretty light for Suburban Nights. That's me wearing your glasses.
And me wearing your Gandalf wig, which, yeah, it really was going.
Why aren't you wearing any pants? That's not important right now.
I'm going to go take a nap.
Yes, I'll be over here sleeping.
And so we've come to the last
I didn't notice this until you actually did this effect right here, but the Warrior number in the upper left corner keeps moving down with each issue, and I don't get it.
New ways to surprise me, even when I thought
Why? Why does it keep moving down? What's the point?
I do find it amazing that this, just even looking at it, you can tell it's completely different than the other three. I mean, art style, no coloring, you name it.
Which I think helps give this review its own unique flavor to it. Sure, I know you think that it's not as good as the other two. I can see why you'd think that. But it does give it its own feel to it for a review and not just be like a rehash of the other two.
Everything seems to run together without colors. As for the cover itself,
the original,
look like this is a book with the same characters.
I remember the original reason why this was delayed was because that dude in Suede appeared in it, and we realized, oh crap, we can't show this video because Suede is going. Oh god, that
this
text.
was one of the bad ones. This is one of the bad letter pages where the text disappears entirely into the back.
But yeah, Suede appears in this, and his appearance in Suburban Nights was a secret, so we realized, crap, we can't show this video because it'll reveal that Suede was there.
Well, the other reason was that I got absolutely devastatingly ill as the result of Suburban Nights. I got the super virus, the Luke Mockery plague. And I think I've told people this. I don't think it was just Luke Mockery. I was like, Bennett also got sick, and so I think
did Brad.
Yeah, I think whatever Bennett and Luke had mutated into some kind of super flu. It was no sooner that I got home that I was sick for 2 weeks, and I was just not able to edit this. I was just dead to the world. It was one of the worst illnesses I've had. So yeah, and also it was kind of weird. There was also a kind of a motivation issue where like I was not a fan of the way I shot it, and so I kind of didn't want to edit it. I was kind of down on it, and you were actually very instrumental. You helped cheer me up, and you were like, you got to finish this, man. People will want to see how it ends. And I was thinking like, we'll reshoot it the next anniversary. You're like, no. So, and you were right. You were absolutely right to say so. But I needed to hear that, so thank you.
Especially since we barely had. Actually, I haven't said other things.
You gotta be
well, you're welcome. That's I can't. I was gonna say something, but I can't remember what it was. Anyway, yeah, that was the original reason why you got sick. I remember now. I actually avoided the Luke Mockery Plague primarily because I was so used to the bear head. I was so used to getting sick during these now, because I think I got sick right after the Brawl as well, and during Kick-Assia, so I realized I'm bringing an entire bag of medicine with me just to avoid getting sick, and it really helps.
Oh, I do that too, and honestly, I used to, you know how it's kind of, when you see a movie, for instance, and there's a celebrity who's really full of himself, and he shakes hands with somebody, and then he sprays that hand sanitizer, and you're like, what kind of asshole does this guy think he is? Like, am I dirty or something like that? I do that now. I'm that guy. And I don't do that, like, right in front of them, but, like, if there's an autograph signing and people shake my hand, I will put the hand sanitizer on, because con flu and film flu is a very real thing. Like, you got to be careful when
people are hugging, people are shaking hands, it spreads around quickly.
Yeah, and so, like, when you've got 30 people in a tight space, when one person gets sick and you're in close proximity and they're touching you and they're breathing on you, if you think about it, when you're at a convention or you're at an autograph signing or that, you're dealing with hundreds and hundreds of people. If one of those guys is sick and they shake your hand and then you touch your eye or something like that, you're getting sick. So it was really I'm making myself sound like a douchebag, but what I mean is you become very conscious of touching other people and touching yourself in the eyes or something like that, just to avoid sick. And so actually avoiding con flu was a big thing when we did this Suburban Nights thing. We were all trying very hard to avoid getting sick.
People love Juorio in my outfit. It does look a little bit better on him.
I don't think it looks better. Justin is such a lovable character, I don't know who this doctor is. I don't know who the mutants are, because they never appear again after this page.
I would really love to see the actual scripts for these comics, like seriously.
Now, what hyper time is this? The Green Ranger and Dr. Insano. Okay.
As part of the reason why I needed to justify that purchase, the fans pressured me into buying that because it really was a bargain.
You wanted it.
I wanted it, and it fit me.
Yeah.
But and at that price, that full costume with all the trimmings, another dagger, the belt, the morpher. There was another morpher too I've used. And those alone can go for $150.
Yeah.
All of that, those things can go for $1,500. So I got mine at a tremendous bargain. So it was right to do so, but I really had to justify that purchase by, doing as much with it as I could.
I've done that too. I spent a lot of money on a costume that I really had no plans for, and actually, you haven't seen it yet. It's going to be in a video eventually, but that was kind of the condition. I was like, I made with myself. I was like, I'm going to spend a lot of money on this costume, but I'm going to use it in a video. So I at least justified it to myself. One day I will use it in a video. It'll be very cool though when I do it. Placement, a point deluged with A's.
I don't get what? Deluged with what is the A?
I don't know why they want ephedrine either.
This is somehow more confusing than the other ones. And those ones had the frickin' terrain of testament.
This was actually one of those times when I was hoping the fans would write in and tell me what an idiot I am for not knowing what ephedrine is used for. Like, don't you know it's used for demolition or flamethrowers or something? Like, no, it's just a drug.
The fashion model bit.
Quick photo pose. What I loved about this is I was originally going to. This was part of your Wrath of Khan Starfleet uniform, and I was just going to dress like Captain Kirk. and I put this tank top thing on. He's like, wait, you look like a German photo model or something like that. So we just kind of went. That was one of those spontaneous moments where like you're wearing silly hats and silly costumes, and something really funny came out of it.
Sometimes some of the best ones are ones that we just came up with on the spot, because I think it's like this in the original Warrior script too, where you had like vague ideas for what you wanted to do with them, or you just had the general text and you say, okay, this can be a cameo or something, and then just right on the spot we think, oh, we can like say it like this or do it like this and that kind of thing, and it ends up hilarious.
Well, this more than the other ones, which is actually why I really liked your Warrior 2 and 3 script, because the first thing you did was come up with the alternate universes, and I think that's why it's so strong. You know, is because you came up with really solid sketches first, and then, you know, you had that more planned out. I just kind of came with the agenda of, we'll come up with something on the day. And so, you know, we did a couple times, but a lot of times it was just, you know, wearing silly wigs.
I really do like being scripted. I only go non-scripted if I really have to, if there's like no time to do it otherwise, but I like to have at least a vague direction of where I'm going with it.
This is when the Warrior starts killing the Pope and Nelson Mandela.
Like, what? Oh, I just noticed there's another spelling error. Well, it sure looked like their ultimate warrior, and like they actually spelled it with an H. I mean, maybe it's supposed to be because
He's
the guy
supposed
is like
to be
a
a redneck,
but
I think.
It's the Pope Mobile.
Well, I was trying to figure out how this worked, because it just tells us something that you really need to show.
Yeah, how the hell does he get close to these people?
How does the Ultimate Warrior get to the Pope? I'm like, and you know what? Had they shown that, it would have been disturbing, but it really would have been like, it would have been interesting comics.
If there is one major disappointment I have for this, is that during those Ultimate Warrior clips, you didn't add your own subtitles.
I thought about it, but I just did. I thought I'd kind of mind that joke, and besides, I couldn't come up with anything as funny as really I think the prototypical speech was, and this wasn't the subtitles, but the "I need scissors 61," which was from Metal Gear Solid 2. That was that kind of nonsense that Warrior would actually say, but I couldn't come up with any subtitles that I thought were really kind of inspired.
Well, I meant more like taking those Ultimate Warrior clips and then putting you have what he's saying, and then you have the actual interpretation of what he's saying.
Yeah. Oh, the other reason was I kind of ran out of Warrior clips. Like most of the common ones that you've seen up to now were kind of on the self-destruction, the Ultimate Warrior type thing, and I kind of had to go digging for this, where it was like a contract signing between Warrior and Hogan, and he's like looking right into the camera. I don't know how they got away with this, because it's obvious they did this in multiple takes, but whatever.
I like I don't know who this guy is. I love he's just got the guy in the middle who's like the WWF president or something.
Yeah,
that's
WWF
looking back
president.
and forth like, what should I be doing?
That's the president, Jack Tunney. Jack Tunney was a character. He was like the authority figure on WWF television for a long time. Like, if there was a major championship match at WrestleMania, he would be the guy who oversaw that stuff, and Jack Tunney died. But, oh, the alliteration speech. Bennett brought a kilt.
I know a lot of guys who wear kilts, and they're like really cool kilts. They have like lots of pockets and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's called a utilikilt. You see them a lot. Actually, when I went to what convention was it? PAX East. There was for no reason there was a stand selling utilikilts, which is exactly what Bennett was wearing, and they have utility. I mean, they have pockets. Yeah.
I imagine it's probably a lot more comfortable than wearing jeans and whatnot in a warm convention hall.
Actually, you have a point there. And I'm the kind of guy who overheats really easily, so that's actually worth thinking about. But I don't think I'm going to be wearing. When I go to E3, I don't think I'm going to be wearing a kilt. You know, because I got to interview people, I got to interview press reps, and just excuse the kilt. And then Warrior tears a semi-truck in half.
And there was that thing we just passed over where he had roadkill, exclamation mark, and then an @@ symbol.
Yeah, that really puzzled me. I started to think about that. Was like, is that a typo or was it intentional? Like, was he typing just really fucking hard? Like, and his finger slipped, and then he just.
Oh, and I insisted on this. I insisted we have the Black Lantern '90s kid. You had like the idea for it, but you never really went anywhere else with it.
Yeah, I was like, we should have something where like there's a dead '90s kid and Like he's like, I wanted to get the Kurt Cobain line in there because it's kind of dark for one, but it's also something that 90s kid would be like the first guy to look over. He'd be like, dude, we're dead. We can bring back anybody. What about Kurt Cobain? Because, you know, Kurt is very 90s.
Naturally. Why do you think I always have Smells Like Teen Spirit playing?
And now I'm just going full on and wearing the Starfleet uniform, which is a very cool uniform.
It is. I'm really glad I have it. Mind you, it's been modified a few times since you wore it, mostly because that thing, I don't know why, but when they sold it, it was like you only had generic sizes, like small, medium, large, and extra large. So I just bought an extra large, and I was like swimming in it.
Now,
and then I had the prop lady bring it down to an actual size.
I've always wondered about this. What is with the little flap that you can fold down?
Well, I think the theory behind it is that it's just how the jacket is supposed to work. Like it's kind of a naval kind of uniform where one half of it goes around, like it connects to one side. But for some reason, when they want to make it look like the characters are stressed out in the movies, they unflap it like partially, and it works.
It's like loosening a necktie. I was just wondering about that because like sometimes it's up, and then sometimes like Kirk sits in the chair and he's like, oh, I need this flap down, and I feel better, you know.
It doesn't really make any difference at all.
No.
Although, the one thing that bugs me about that costume, the chains. Those chains are accurate to the movies, but they must have done a much better job sewing them than the cosplay people that I bought this from, because those chains are really loose, and they're always falling out, and I think the sewing on them keeps getting undone.
Did you ever find your
pips?
pips?
Thing always looks like it's hanging loose and looks bad.
For the fourth year, did you ever find your pips? I remember you lost one.
I did not, but I bought a new one.
Okay. The Birdemic. This is one of my favorites because I'd just seen Birdemic and I wanted to. I had to do this. It's probably not the best sketch, but I just wanted to do it.
The Birdemic universe, and I was still in the Green Ranger costume, and I decided, you know what? Let's have me still in the costume because I don't want to have to change back into it.
And you know what's funny? I'm not trying to be silly. That was actually better acting than Birdemic. Like, you guys actually looked more scared of the birds than they managed to do in Birdemic.
Here they come!
Oh, God.
Oh, wow.
Callahan is a piece of shit, you know that?
Is unbelievable.
Warrior wisdom.
That's wise. That's very wise.
On dark gray. It's like
honestly, this when I got the comic, this is the first page I turned to because I always like to see how many pages of letters and essays he had in the back, because this is really kind of the most notorious thing about the Warrior comics. Is like half the comic is these essays at the end. And this is where
they're completely unreadable. And even if you could untangle the rambling, nonsense that he's spewing out, half the time the text is the same as the background, so you can't read it.
Yeah, and this is like a 4-page essay. He doesn't even begin to approach a point until like the 3rd page, where he talks about what his problem is with Callahan. The first 2 pages of this are just talking about how much he hates people who break their word and stuff like that. And it just rambles. I know that's redundant to say, but Jesus Christ,
on and on. Get to the point,
you can see a chapter about capitalism.
So much about nothing. Sorry, I interrupt you there.
No. I'm rambling now.
Well, it's very meta in that regard.
Oh my God, a page you can read. Not that you want to.
And a page that's much harder to read. It's slightly better.
Oh man.
It almost looks like a grainy old film clip that it's put over. I can see the lines.
I was actually stunned that you did the Ultimate Warriors workout because I thought I'd picked out most of the Warrior stuff.
Oh, I've got one. Here's the thing: if we have another kind of time where we can get together and do another Warrior comic, I found another one.
Oh, hi, tripod in the back.
I mean, this is what 5.
Oh, it's just an alternate universe full of tripods.
I guess.
There's nothing here. All of this. It's nothing.
But no, I found another Warrior. A fan directed me to another Valiant comic, Warrior comic.
Yeah. This entire speech, up to just about this point where you say, that's the secret, this is pretty much verbatim a Skype conversation that we had. when I was writing the script for Warrior 4, and I'm like reading these essay pages, and I go, you know, none of this means anything. And you're like, not a goddamn thing. And I'm like, he's talking, and he's talking, but he's not saying anything. You know what I mean? And like that's I think I might have the transcript still, but I think I almost just copy pasted that transcript into the script, just to talk about how we're gonna end this. And I'm like, you know, I think the only reason we even bothered reviewing this is because it's so pointless. You know what I mean? Like, I've never seen so much said about nothing. You know, there's a story that he thinks is being told, but is not in fact actually being told. You know. And I also wanted to do. I remember. This is actually kind of a riff on Kick-Assia, where, you know, we look into the camera and say, "Everybody, clap your hands," and everyone's.
We believe in Santa Christ. No, we don't care.
I wanted to do a bit where I'm like, everyone look in the camera and immediately stop giving a shit. Oh, Iron Sheik, I wanted to do this ever since we did the wrestling thing. I just wanted to do a bit where Iron Sheik.
Make him humble.
That's basically another Iron Sheik verbatim. Seriously, in terms of like crazy promos, Iron Sheik is like right behind the Ultimate Warrior, if not in first place, because Iron Sheik is this drug-addled alcoholic maniac. Suede.
Suede has officially made Dr. Insuedo an official character for his show too.
Oh, no kidding! I need to watch more of his stuff.
We did a crossover recently, where we took a look at the first Pokemon movie.
I saw that. I did see that.
Yep, and that's where he gave the proper introduction to him, and he looks damn good in that suit actually.
I love this Gray Lantern bit. I thought we actually acted the hell out of this.
I love the Gray Lantern symbols that I've seen online, where it's just like where the lantern symbol is a guy shrugging.
Well, now you've done it. The power of our not giving a crap has caused us to become Gray Lanterns.
We have a ring or something. I don't care. And I foreshadowed this because in my own little time paradox thing where I reviewed Ultimate Warrior's workout, not only was the Linkara coming from the future, he was also doing he was singing the Bargos the Mati song, but he was also saying, like, I asked him, well, how is Chicago? It was okay.
Oh, right.
I don't think anyone ever caught that.
No, it's subtle, but I like it. I love the subtle joke. But yeah, this is how Hyper Time was saved from Ultimate Warrior's craziness and apathy. I want to do more Iron Sheik. I have no excuse to use him. But...
Is he even in any movies?
Iron Sheik. I would very much doubt it. He's mainly notorious. Like if you do a YouTube search on Iron Sheik, you'll see like just pages and pages of crazy rambling. That's really where he comes from in like in convention appearances where he almost gets into fights. He once called his cocaine dealer at a Q&A. Anyway, that's all we got for the Warrior. I am virtually certain, although I don't know what form it will take, that we will be back with another Ultimate Warrior comic at some time in the future. And that might be the debut of Oreo in a video.
Aside from the vlog introducing her.
Well, yeah, but in continuity, or that can't be continuity, whatever. But anyway, thank you, Lewis. And honestly, it was an adventure and an experience bringing the Warrior comics to the fans. Don't you agree?
I'll never work with you again.
Oh, yes, you will. There's the fourth year to look forward to.
It was a blast.
All right, thanks, man, and thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank you all.